Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are having a very good week. By the way, don't forget a little bit of housekeeping. Tomorrow, live stream. Please turn your notification bell. So today I ask one extra thing. Like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know when I'm live tomorrow. I hope you guys bring some good questions to me, challenge me a little bit. You know that I always enjoy it. Keep the good spirits, keep the respectful behavior, as you always do. And I'm looking forward to see a lot of you, tomorrow during the live. And the more the merrier. So please bring some good questions. I'm going to address a lot of matters as I usually do. Also, my price predictions for X, Pulse, and PulseX. Hedron and ICOS is a bit difficult. It's a bit more difficult because it's very connected to what I think X is going to do, because they're basically derivatives on X. But in any case, I'll be covering those. A little bit of macro, what to look for in this year. There's a lot of noise about a lot of things, so it's very important, and that's the difficult part, to know exactly what we are looking for. Maybe I'll discuss also a little bit about my plans after crypto. I mean, not after in the sense that I will drop crypto forever and just do something else. No, I will always have some crypto, but I won't need to be exposed to such high volatility and such risk as I am currently facing. So I'm also going to discuss that. So I think it's going to be a good live. By the way, quick update on my lottery tickets that I've mentioned yesterday. In case you guys haven't seen that video, please go look at it. As you know, I have what I call my retirement bags, which is PulseX, PulseX, Hedron, and ICOSA. And then I have my lottery plays. Let's say try to catch the next Pepe or whatever. I mean, it doesn't need to be the next Pepe. It can be coin that goes up 100-fold or so. I'm also going to be very happy if that happens. Small money, different wallets, separate wallets, no touching of my main wallet with these gambling plays, if you will. So Pulse Spot is now at $9, so almost double the sacrifice phase. POISED will launch fairly, meaning no pre-sales, no private allocations beforehand. So it's gonna launch on March 2nd, and PIKAMOON has finished its pre-sale yesterday, hitting $6 million raised, which was their target. The beta game looks very good for the crypto space. The tokenomics are interesting, they're deflationary. Supposedly, the team has locked its coins for 36 months. We'll see. We'll see if that's the case. I've heard these kind of stories many times. So we will see if that's really the case or not. In any case, once again, as I've mentioned before, to me, they are lottery plays. So, if I win, and I win big, that's excellent. I will probably rotate them into my retirement coins. If they do very poorly and they go to zero, I lost a couple of $100, so I'm not gonna, be living underneath the street, underneath any bridge. So that's my point about asymmetric risk reward, which obviously crypto is, I would say, an extra or exponential version of this. But without further ado, Bitcoin is about 57,000. It was 54,000 yesterday, and it was like 50K last week. This comes as expected. If you guys have been following the channel, I was mentioning about a week ago or so, maybe 2 weeks, that for people to pay a lot of attention, because between after 50K and after 52K in particular, there's very little resistance above. So you can, if you're not careful, you can start gapping up quite aggressively. Actually, I'm pretty proud on that one, if I can put my humbleness apart, because basically last year I was mentioning you're gonna see a ramp up into the ETF approval. Check. The day of the approval, you're gonna see a spike. check. But when you actually have a sell the news event, when you actually have the ETFs trading, it's going to be a sell the news event. And then at the time, one of you asked me, okay, how low I think Bitcoin would go. And I said, look, most likely it will stop at 38K. I think I said that in a live stream. And then Bitcoin went to something like 37,995 just to make me wrong by $5. And then it went straight up. Never seen those levels before. Now, there's something I need to say here, because that part is important, which is Bitcoin is ramping up into the halving, as it usually does, meaning price going up. And by the way, not financial advice, but I'm pretty certain that on the day of the halving, it's going to be a big sell the news event. Now, as Bitcoin would be climbing, if you look at the previous cycles, Bitcoin should be around 35 to 45,000. So the fact that we are at 57,000, we are way above expectations. I think if you look at the total money into Bitcoin ETFs compared to total money into gold ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs is about 35% already of gold money in ETFs. Now, this is very relevant because obviously gold has been around for thousands of years, and their ETFs have been around for decades, or at least a decade plus. So, in that sense, I would say it's quite relevant. Will we start seeing Bitcoin ETFs being allocated as part of IRAs and 401ks? To be seen. So I also like to put a little bit of water into the euphoria that is starting to build up. But what I can say is I'm fairly convinced that a ramp up of this scale on Bitcoin makes it very likely for some explosive moments on the altcoin season. So I'm quite curious to see that. Ethereum keeps on climbing steadily, still gaining on Bitcoin for the year. Less than expected, most likely because Bitcoin is also doing better than it should. And maybe, and this needs to be said because this is a possibility, and as you know, I always cover everything. Maybe, when people are trying to lose weight and the third week is the hardest week, maybe the third cycle is the hardest cycle, and the fourth cycle is kind of more comparable to the first and the second cycle. Now, I tend to not believe it, but to be honest, we are in the first fourth year cycle on Bitcoin. So, I mean, you always need to be open to the possibilities. And this is good also to re-mention that I also have strategies for a bear market case for Bitcoin where we fail to get to 100K, a base case where we end up somewhere around 150 to 220, and then the bullish, the blue sky case where we go above 500,000 per Bitcoin. And the idea of having these scenarios is to basically have my positioning on the altcoins that I think will succeed accordingly. So that means that if Pulse Chain goes up 40x from here, is it a 400x? No. 40x is still decent, is very decent, but it's not 400x. So what I'm trying to do is to position myself in such a way that I don't need a 500x, a 1000x, 2000x. No. If it does 25, 40, 50, I'm already doing fine. So that's the point. That's where people tend to, lose the boat a little bit. Now, we're starting to see a lot of new all-time highs getting hit on the indices across the world. I would say the most special one was indeed Japan, because it has been 34 years since the last time that we saw a new all-time high on the Nikkei. But in any case, that showcases you that higher interest rates, that the market can survive higher interest rates, unlike everybody thought. But I do believe we are approaching quite likely a case of recession on a widespread basis. So Japan is already in one, Germany is in one, France is about to get into one, the UK is already in one, the Netherlands is in one, and China, I don't care what their numbers are, but what the official numbers come out, but it's clear to me that they're already under recession, and actually they're experiencing a bust period, just like Japan had in the 80s, late 80s, stock market explodes. 2 years later, real estate, just like China, while everybody thought that China would overtake the world, just like the world thought that Japan was going to overtake everything else. So similar dynamics. So it's going to be interesting to check on that. Other than that, look, again, as you guys know, I don't spend much time with stocks. To me, crypto is where the big gains are. But it tests you, gives you a lot of gray hairs and a lot of stress. But if you know what how the market is performing, where it's going, on the overall trends, that's the most important thing. Don't pay attention to every little noise in the market about everything. Otherwise, you go completely crazy. Just put yourself in specific dates. Think about, okay, going up into the halving, sell off after the halving, probably another run into 2025. Will we get a collapse in 2025? Maybe. What can cause it? Ethereum spot ETF approval, another country following El Salvador's footsteps and having Bitcoin as its reserves. Maybe some rumors that the BRICS will use Bitcoin as part of the commodity. Who knows? Who knows, right? But think about stuff that can... maybe Jim Cramer says that Bitcoin is going to be the best performing asset in 2025. So these kind of things, and then obviously collapses on the same day that I says that. So think about also, well, okay, we are in 2024, starting the bull market. Now everybody's happy. No more documentaries about how crypto is a scam. FTX never existed. The SEC doesn't matter. So we are now in the high interest rates don't matter. So we are now entering the bull phase, the stronger bull phase. We are still not in euphoria mode. Euphoria is when, once again, people will say stuff like, we will colonize Mars in 2 years and Bitcoin will be the only currency over there. Like stuff like that. Like when you start hearing this nonsense, then it's probably the top is coming very quickly. The good news is usually Bitcoin tops, Ethereum tops about 28 days later, give or take a week. And then altcoins peak 1 week to 14 days after Ethereum. So if you think Bitcoin has stopped, if you have a good top signal, you still should have some time to put your house in order. But at that moment, that will make me the most unpopular YouTuber because I'll be raining on everybody's parade. But with that, thank you very much, guys. Looking forward to see you tomorrow, and I'll catch you in the next one.